Harmony Huxley and the Midnight Rehearsals. In a congested city of towers, where you can occasionally spot the moon's silver light, where the subways are hustle and bustle, and the street traffic rumbles deep into the night, lives a lady called Harmony Huxley, with a cardboard box and one blanket which she calls home. A mop of dirty blonde wild curls hides her face, and in tatty clothes she exists, wandering all alone. No family, no house, now and then just a park bench, but always a beautiful dream. And she would sing little songs while holding out her hand for spare cash by the vending machine. Some days she would sit enjoying the music played by an orchestra in the bandstand in the park, daydreaming in the warm summer sunshine that she was one of the musicians and she was playing the harp. In the winter, the orchestra played in the city hall, with its stone pillars and entrance staircase so grand and wide, where Harmony knew that a window would always be left open so she could slip in and listen, then spend the night inside. She would tiptoe through the warm hallways where the decor was elegant and the carpeting plush, knowing where to hide to avoid the janitor or the staff of any late evening admin rush. She always made her way to the orchestra pit, where she took in its signature scent, the ambience of the talented musicians still lingering from all the concentration and effort that had been spent. This night, as Harmony snuggled in a corner, feeling very contented and warm, she started dreaming of happier days as a young girl on her father's dairy farm. As she slowly drifted into slumber, the air became a moonlit glimmer, all icy, chilly and thick, and the vintage clock high up on the wall gave one loud and ominous tick. Harmony opened her eyes very slowly, her body shivering with the atmospheric change, and she snuggled up tighter into her blanket, feeling lightheaded and very strange. Then, slowly arising from the silence, she heard a strange sound that coincided with a white flash and a wavy shimmering glow. And in that instance, there appeared hovering around her a host of ghosts floating in a spectral row. One was a Mozart look-alike, dressed in stylish clothes of his era and who was wearing a powdered white wig, who started playing a harpsichord solo, then laughed and danced a wee jig. A jazz-loving lady came into view, dressed in her full flapper attire, blowing a trumpet so expertly her groove was hot and on fire. A Viking then appeared with his bagpipes, then a monk in full habit with a lute, a disco king carrying a keyboard, and an angel with her golden flute. A punk rock drummer dressed in a tartan jacket and skinny jeans, who clearly had once been very glam, with tattoos around his neck and his ghostly hair spiked with some supernatural jam. So many ghostly apparitions, all with their instrument of choice. And then a lady dressed in a beautiful blue gown started singing with the most angelic, amazing voice. A little boy then came running through the ghostly mist, playing a tin whistle which gave the most crystalline, ear-splitting sound. He had the face of a cherub, beautiful features, with cheeks all rosy and round. They all turned towards Harmony, whose mouth was agape, watching them all floating in this space, when a trumpet's wham wham made her jump up so quick from her comfortable sleeping place. Then one of the ghosts leaned forward and said, "Who's this little lady with the dirt on her nose? She's all stinky and scruffy, and her hair is a mess, and she's dressed in ragged and tatty clothes." "I'm Harmony," came a squeaky voice. "I sleep here at night in the winter as I'm homeless, and somebody always kindly leaves the window ajar. Some nights in the summer I sleep on a bench and listen to the orchestra in the park." The ghosts all looked at one another, then gave a happy and very grand cheer. "For the first time in possibly centuries," one said, "someone can actually see us and hear." Then the maestro came forward, a very proud man, who was walking with the use of a cane. Each night we rehearse in this orchestra pit, he said, but it's usually only to spirits on our astral plane. I'm not sure that anyone alive ever hears our beautiful music or song. They just say the hall is haunted and then anxiously move very quickly along. But you definitely heard our overture and watched our apparitions come into view, and that earns you the right to take the best seat, and we'll play especially for you. With a nod and a grin and a very loud tap tap, Maestro then took a very deep breath as he raised up the baton and admired his orchestra, smiling like a maestro of death. And so they played, no dirge or solemnness, not even a funeral tune. Instead, the music exploded like a pop rocks concert in June. Bagpipes were shrieking and banjos were plucking, violins producing overtones, synthesizers bubbling and piano keys tinkling, and the harp had a solo all of its own. What an unusual performance the Midnight Orchestra made. It was funky and formal and bonkers and bold. All the ghostly musicians played expertly, such a mashup of music, both modern and old. And Harmony was ecstatic. She laughed with pure delight. In fact, she was so overcome that she wept, while the oboe and tuba played a marvellous duet in such amazing and synchronized steps. A nun ghost danced with her habit swishing while she rang all of her golden bells. Then a hula dancer played a xylophone which was made from oyster shells. The orchestra played all night long. Their repertoire knew no bounds. The musicians were such characters and so talented, and they created the most amazing sounds. But too soon the sun started rising, casting rays of light into the hall for the start of a new day. So the ghosts started making ready to leave, slowly evaporating and finally floating away. Harmony now sat in silence and awe, just as the maestro rose up into the swirling, misty air. "If you return here each night," he said to her, "we'll show you music with rapturous flair." So now, every midnight, when most humans are tucked up in their beds and fast asleep, Harmony sneaks into the music hall without making a single peep. And in that old hall, in the dark, where the silence echoes and shadows dance and play, she listens to a beautiful ghostly orchestra and sometimes becomes the maestro until the break of day. Several years passed, and then one winter's night, when all the ghosts packed up and evaporated into the morning air, they took Harmony Huxley with them. She was part of their family now, and forever in their ghostly care. And as Harmony looked back down into the orchestra pit, huddled in a corner, all snug with blonde curls falling over the floor, she saw herself in her forever sleep, no new day dawn, but now with her orchestra friends forevermore. So, if you should ever hear music, unearthly sounding with a unique and heavenly flow, it could be from a ghostly symphony. Anything is possible, you just never know.